Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Spiritual Spotlight series. Today, I am joined by Joy Woodward. She's an internationally acclaimed Pythagorean numerologist, intuitive, and founder of Joy of Numerology. She's also a best-selling author, renowned for her work in decoding the mystical language of numbers. With over 15 years of expertise, she has empowered thousands, including celebrities and influencers, to optimize personal performance, forge soul-aligned connections, and overcome barriers to success. Joy, thank you so much for being on the Spiritual Spotlight series. I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Rachel.
So let me just jump right in. What initially drew you to numerology, and how did it transform your life from the corporate world to a spiritual path?
Oh, just a little question. Okay.
Just a little baby one.
I had a reading done. I've always been a little curious, and I had a friend said, "You've got to check this out." And so I did, and I couldn't believe how validating it was. The things it revealed were just mind-blowing for me at the time. And so what it did was it completely transformed my life. A lot of that had to do with a name change that happened. I
Mm.
got married somewhere in between corporate and leaving the corporate world completely. But that is how numerology can really impact your life. And so it just really validated some of the experiences and things I was having, and you realize it's not so random.
So your numerology will change based upon your name. So if I get married or divorced, or if I never change my name, I didn't know that.
So it's a secondary energy when you take on
Oh,
a new name. So your soul contract is the one that I use when I get your birth date and
okay.
your original birth
Yeah.
certificate name. That never leaves you. It will always be your true north, your true heart's desire. But your name numbers really impact your career.
Oh,
And for me, that is exactly what happened because I left the corporate world and then this spiritual, mystical one presented.
I think that's amazing. So you kind of just brought this up, a question that I have. Can you explain what a soul contract is and how numerology can reveal it?
It's so revealing. So your date of birth, it gives you some really important information. You get your life path number, your birthday number, your attitude number. They all come from your birth date. And the attitude number is the one that really gives you the timing of your life. And
Mm,
that is remarkably accurate for what you're dealing with at any
yeah.
given time. And so those numbers are all very important. Your soul number comes from your vowels. That's
Okay.
your true heart's desire, your secret self, your inner motivations. Your personality number comes from the consonants in your name. And
Okay.
that's one that really points to career. And then your destiny number is really a combination of your soul and personality together. And that also has a lot to do with career and sort of an ultimate end goal.
Oh,
And then I also like looking at your maturity number, which is the totality of your chart. It's your life path and your destiny put together. And that is the one that really defines sort of your life after 50. And so it's a very important number, especially with compatibility. And so your soul contract reveals karma,
mm,
it reveals your natural gifts and talents, it reveals your lessons, what you're working on. It's remarkable the amount of information you can get from it.
my mind is spinning. I'm like, oh my goodness. I have so many questions. So you just mentioned karma. So how does numerology help individuals understand and work through maybe their karmic debts?
This is where my mind was blowing when I had my first reading. So I had trouble with authority figures my entire life. It didn't matter whether it was teachers when I was younger, was employers or bosses when I was a little bit older. And that falls with 19-1 karma, which I have in my destiny number. And with that, the one is really ambitious It wants to be the best at whatever it is going to choose to focus on. But with that, it comes with the lesson of standing up for the underdog and really
Mm.
giving people a voice that don't have one. And so it comes from abuse of power in a past lifetime on an epic level, not just you were mean to your
No,
child.
yeah, yeah.
It's like royalty, politician, high-ranking military kind of karma that you brought forward in this life. And so when she told me I had trouble with authority figures, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, you have no idea." And so with that, it's like I said, that particular karma wants you to stand up for the underdog. A lot of people have addiction karma
Mm.
in their chart. That shows up with 14-5 energy. And you're going to learn about addictions from both sides, what it's like to have your own and what it's like to love someone with an addiction. And then there's 13-4 karma, which is about abusing your talents in a past life. And so they tend to be quite lazy in a past lifetime. And so in this lifetime, they're going to work really hard and really showcase their talents. Um, the other one would be 16-7, which
Mhm.
is abuse of love from a past lifetime. And these people really have emotional hurts a lot of the time that they have to work through until they learn to respect love and the power of love.
And all of that can be determined by you having the name and the date of birth. And oh my goodness, I'm blown
Yes.
away. I'm just like, I also have an issue with authority figures.
Yes, it's your life path number is 19-1, actually. That's an even harsher sentence than my destiny number.
So everyone, before we started, Joy so nicely took my name and my birth date.
I did. Yeah,
Wow.
you've got a lot going on.
You're speaking my truth. I already know that. I know. I've been through a lot in my life. Wow. And she's like, guys, for another day. I love that.
Lots
That's
of opportunity for soul evolution.
I 100% agree with that. Yes, yes. You know what's interesting though, because I remember as early as being in like second grade, really standing up to a teacher and when people were being bullied or all of that stuff. And I've gotten in so much trouble for speaking my mouth because I don't agree with people abusing power. Like it just really blows me away. And clearly,
Yeah, and injustice is also a
yes,
trigger for that number.
yes,
So
I do. Yes, ma'am. I have a
now you
lot.
know why.
No, thank
You
you.
agreed to it in your soul contract. Your soul wanted that lesson. It wanted to learn this in this lifetime.
That's you know what I will say I appreciate that because it made me a little bit of a stronger person throughout my life and being able to recognize injustice very quickly, you know.
Absolutely.
So, can you maybe share a specific instance where recognizing the high and the low vibrations of your numbers led to significant changes in your life?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, one place where I've really noticed is in my own chart, I have a lot of nine energy, and
Mm,
nine is sort of the totality of all numbers together. So if you add one plus two plus three plus four, blah, 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 up to nine, it comes out as 45, which ultimately is still a nine.
right,
And
right.
so it really holds all of that energy, and they try and be all things to all people. And so when you realize that about yourself, you can sort of tone it down, hone it in. Is this your problem? There's a lot of intuition that comes with that
Mm,
number, and it is at a lower vibration. It's very impressionable, and it always will give people the benefit of the doubt. So when I learned that giving people the benefit of the doubt ultimately was not serving me.
mm,
So, for example, if someone lies to you and you know they're lying because nine has a little bit of a human lie detector built in, you actually have nine energy as well, which I'm sure you'll recognize as I'm talking.
I'm like, mm.
It's extremely counterintuitive to be a bad judge of character. But at a lower vibration, nines will give everyone the benefit of the doubt and make excuses for them.
Yes.
And ultimately, they end up lying to you or about you. So that didn't serve me. But when I realized it, now I can correct. I don't automatically give people that benefit of the doubt.
I will say that you bring up a really good point about being intuitive for how people are towards you. And I will say that and you probably are the same way. I feel like intuitively I can see through a lot of noise. And I'm going to ask you this. Do you ever find it interesting when you're reading someone and you're like, you maybe not have the best intentions, but other people are like, they're the best person. You ever run up against that?
Always. And if a lot of my friends have heard me say is their story sucks. I'll just, and then I'll poke holes in it and I'll tell them exactly why their story sucks.
I'm gonna use that starting tomorrow. I am legitimately going to use that starting tomorrow.
Yeah, it's so true. When you hear something and it doesn't sit right and you intuitively know something's wrong and a couple facts don't really, mash up. Yeah, your story sucks. I'm moving on.
Starting that tomorrow, 100%. So you started the joy of numerology during your personal 8 year. How do personal years influence significant life decisions and milestones?
This is the most practical piece of information numerology can give you. So, 8 year rules business. So,
Mm,
that's the year that I ended up starting Joy of Numerology. Uh, it really gives you that drumbeat for your life, and it can save you from so many, misspent hours or time or projects where there really isn't the energy there to support what you're trying to do. So for example, a 9 year, things that people try and launch or start in a 9 year usually fall flat. They just
wow.
don't get off the ground. And that can be as literal as even pregnancies. I see a lot of miscarriages under nine energy. A lot of people, will lose a loved one under nine
Yeah.
energy. So it really is not about starting things or beginning things.
Mm,
And you can really save yourself if you know your cycle. So for myself, last year I was in a 9 year and people, brought me different opportunities. And I was like, I will totally get back to you next year. Like I will, but I didn't, I wasn't going to launch something. And so then in your 1 year, you can spend that time researching. In your 1 year, you can hit the ground running and really make more progress.
yeah.
But it's all 9 years about letting go, making space. And the universe is a vacuum, so it will fill in, but you have to be willing to let go.
Yeah. That's interesting. I respect that you honor where your personal cycle is to know when you're going to be doing something.
Well, I've been through as a numerologist, I'm working on my third cycle now. And so my friends don't even like if someone says something to me now and I'm like, can't, 7 month, not feeling it. They don't even, they're like, oh, whatever, sure. And they love my numbers when they're internet dating and things, but when they interfere with their plans and wishes, not so much.
Not sorry. So another thing. So how does numerology predict the success of relationships and uncover compatibility between partners?
This is such a revealing area. So there are numbers for loyalty. There are numbers that where loyalty is not the most important thing for them. And so I'm not saying don't date him, he's
Right.
disloyal. I'm saying want the same things. Maybe you're both super into swinging. Maybe you both want an open relationship.
Right.
There's a number for that. So you can actually find those people and bring them together. So there's concords in numerology, and 157 is a concord. That's the intellectual um, set of numbers. 248 are the business numbers, and 369 are the creative numbers.
Hmm.
On the most basic level, of matchmaking with numerology, you'd want to make sure people have concords in common
Okay. That makes
in the
perfect
key
sense.
areas of their chart.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense because if I am not a swinger and my partner wants to be a swinger, that may not make us compatible.
Exactly. Right. So if loyalty is really, and there's numbers that want children, there's numbers that don't. There's numbers that are a total mama's boy. There's numbers that like to turn their children into those loyal mama's boys. So you can look at a chart and say, great guy, here are some qualities.
Yeah.
Never ever say a word that is not 100% positive about his mother. You will lose. That'll be it.
Done. Wow. That is
You can know that
fascinating.
looking at a chart. Then you can also know that to certain numbers time is really important and
Mm,
being on time. And then there's numbers that are like, you know, flow with the wind, and you can't really rely on them. So just know that about them. And
yeah.
either you can love it and learn to live with it, or you know that's a deal breaker for you. So you don't have to waste a bunch of time there. You can move on.
I think that is so cool because you can almost like when you're starting in a relationship, just be like, okay, let's see, are we gonna drive or maybe we should keep it moving? Like
Yeah,
that's so cool. That's even more powerful than like a psychic reading. This is like black and white.
it definitely can be. And I could give you a list of clients where I said, these are the warning, these are your red flags, these are your pink flags, these are your green flags. And then I'll get a call a couple months later and they're, oh my gosh, it was exactly like you said. He totally did that and this and whatever. So
And you're
it's
like,
very accurate.
and you didn't listen.
Like,
Sorry.
save yourself.
Sometimes whenever I'm reading Akashic records and I'm opening the records for people and I'm just like, yeah, but you're really not gonna listen. So it's like
I see that in charts too. Like, you're going to learn the hard way. So,
to go the difficult route. Yeah, that's
yeah.
probably a good point too. So how can numerology guide someone in choosing a rewarding career path or finding their true calling?
This is where natural talents are revealed.
Mm,
And when you can, your soul number is more about your relationships a lot of the time. But
mhm.
what I find is when people can find something that integrates their soul number into that destiny number, these are the people that love going to work and they don't feel like they have a job. These are the people that really enjoy what they do. Now, that is much easier for some people than others. So if your soul number is at a complete contrast to your life path or destiny, you're going to be a little more all over the map. You're going to need some very intricate way of weaving them together.
Wow.
If they match, these are the people that wear their heart on the sleeve. You always know exactly what they're thinking, where they're going, what they want to do. But when you get the diversity in a chart, this is where you're like, I thought I knew you. Who are you? But when you can find something that integrates your passion, that soul number, into your career,
Yeah.
that is where the magic lives.
Oh, I think that's so cool. I'm like, how do I do that? I think that's so cool.
I have
So
some ideas for you.
I'm like, please share. Please share.
Sure.
Because
Because
I'll tell
I'll
you,
tell you,
I
I
am a registered nurse and I run a doctor's office, which I find it funny that I'm also in a spiritual career. So I do feel like I conflict and I feel like I have two different paths.
your numbers would completely reveal that. So you have the, do you want to talk about you a little
Yeah,
bit?
sure, if you
So
don't mind.
okay, you have that one life path at
Yeah,
19-1, which really says you have to be in charge. If you're not in charge, like, forget about it. It's not going to feel
100%.
anyone. Okay. So you've got that 19-1. Ultimately, anyone with a 19 in their chart, this is the number of the entrepreneur. At
Mm,
some point, you will not be working for someone else. You
yes.
will completely have your
Yes.
own thing going on. Now, you have a 9 soul number. And this is that humanitarian number. This is the one that wants to help other people. Nine always comes to this soul contract with many, many, many past lives. And so with that nine, it's ultimately about the the good of all. You
Mm.
really have a sense of community that a lot of other numbers don't have. And so it can be hard for you when you see people being really selfish because you're like, don't you care about what's happening around you? And that's part of this number. Now, it is interesting to me if this number is being honest, they very secretly on a certain level always wish for fame.
Yes. Yes.
But it's
Secretly. I'm going to admit
it
it to you, even though this is on my podcast. But sometimes I'm like, that'd be so cool.
it is such a hidden secret desire that when they hear you say it out loud, they're
I'm
I've
embarrassed.
never told anyone
I'm
that. Like,
embarrassed to say
how
that.
yeah. So that's part of that number. So podcast is actually very good for you. Now you have a five destiny and personality number. This is the one that needs adventure, freedom, different every day. If you get bored, this is where everything will derail for you. You will start creating what I like to call fake drama.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So a lot of times this number is attracted to a career in uniform. So things that are exciting, ER nurse, cop, fireman, fire person, they are very much attracted to that adventure, that kind of chaotic sort of lifestyle. They just need that excitement. And so you want to be careful about creating, like I said, fake drama where you just make something out of nothing to entertain yourself.
Stop. I have a tattoo that says freedom.
Okay. Well, you also have three fives in your chart. So
I hear
that's a
what you're
lot.
laying down. I hear what you're laying. And I have to say, for anyone that's listening, everything that she is saying is 100% spot on. Like, I'm a leader at my job. Like, I run the office. Like, I like adventure. Like, whenever I get bored, I will leave a job and I'll move on. That's why my son makes fun of me and say, Mom, you're on level 24, because I've really shift careers a lot. Because when I get bored, I'm like, I know I have to get out. So
Right. And you secretly want to be famous.
send that back.
So with that, you're going to want to find something in your career. I actually would really like the entertainment industry for you. So if you can take this podcast and make it big or turn it into like speaking gigs and other
Yes.
things, that would actually be good.
Yes.
Now, like I said, you have three fives. These are the ones that kind of create their own little world. And they just expect other people to fall in, right? Fit in or get out. And so if you think of J.K. Rowling's, like
Yes.
she created that entire
Yes.
magical world of Harry Potter. That's five energy. She's a five life path. And so you have to work a little bit harder at grounding into reality sometimes.
I
But you're
understand
like,
that.
reality is so boring. Like moving on.
Okay, everyone. I will say this. My goal for this show is to have it be nationally syndicated. That's my goal.
Amazing. That would really work for you. You'd be able to leave your 9 to 5. You'd be the one which likes to be the best at everything they do. And so that would really work. And with the nine soul number, you would be helping people, that sense of community, that you're
Yeah.
giving them information that can further them along. So that would actually really feed you.
Well, I'm bringing on people like you who are experts in their industry, who are so amazing.
So you have a six maturity number. This is the one you really want to pay attention to
Okay.
in relationships. Because if one person evolves and the other person isn't, this is where you see later in life divorces,
Okay.
where one person's maturity number becomes toxic to the other person, or where it's new energy in their chart. And so this is actually going to help you feel more in touch with your heart number because it's part of the concord there. You're actually going to start feeling more into your own skin as you approach, oh yeah, as you approach 50.
Yeah.
So that will be very it will feel good for you.
I like
You'll
that.
like it. And 6 is that number that's more nurturing, more, it has some perfectionist energy, which will be new for you
Mm.
because 5s are good enough. Moving on. Got bored, didn't finish. So
So
with
true.
that, it will help you, become more, a little more grounded, a little more nesting
Yeah.
type energy.
It's fascinating that you say that because I have always thought from a very young age until even now, when I hit my 50s, is really when I'm going to hit my stride. Like, I don't know what it is. And you just confirmed it. I'm always like, I can't wait till I hit my 50s. Like, I know it sounds
Yeah.
odd and that sounds weird, but
No, it makes sense. So with that, you're in a personal 3-year right now. So I get this from taking your month and day of birth and adding it to the calendar year. And I have a formulas page on my website
yeah,
if
she
people
does
want to do
tons and tons, tons.
so. You're in a 3 personal year. That's about expansion. It's also what I used to call your date with destiny.
Mm.
3s are incredible networkers. And so when you're under 3 energy, I always want people to treat that like the universe is your connector now, right? So 3s are the ones who always have a guy. Like, I need a painter. Oh, my neighbor paints. Like, oh, I need drywall. Oh, my cousin's a drywaller. Like, they always have connectors.
Oh, wow.
So think of the universe as being your connector this year. Pay
Okay.
attention to who you're meeting.
Okay.
There will be someone this year that plays a pivotal role in your life down the line. You may not know when you meet them. There could be a degree of separation, but there will be someone you meet this year. But it's all about expansion, everything getting bigger. Then you're going to have a 4-year. That's the foundation. You want to, like, nose to the grindstone, take care of details, don't leave things undone. You have to pay attention to your health, right? And it's a real year for healing. So
Mm.
whatever you want to heal, whether it's procrastination or a chronic illness, that's all going to be under your 2025. 2026 for you is going to be a 5-year. This is the year of big changes. Big. So if you use your 3-year and your 4-year productively, when you hit your 5-year,
Yeah.
you'll be able to make that change.
I'm so happy I'm talking to you today. You have just made my entire year. It's, because if you think for my personal journey, I've really been trying to focus on my health and I've been like, I'm good and then I'm not, and then I'm good and then I'm not. And like I'm thinking I have to wait till next year to really get into gear. Hmm.
So then you break it down to your personal month.
There's personal months.
Yeah.
Tell us
So,
more.
well, for you right now, June is actually a 9 month. So this is a month where you don't want to be starting things. Right now, I would be working on clearing clutter,
Okay.
forgiving anyone you hold a grudge to. And I know that you have grudges because I see betrayal in your chart. And so
I can't. Sure. Okay. Okay.
you want
That's
to
so,
make sure that you're getting rid of your emotional clutter, which is
yeah.
generally a lot of unforgiveness,
Okay.
resentments. Then you want to make sure you're getting rid of physical clutter.
Yeah.
And digital clutter is another one that I'm seeing get a little bit out of hand for a lot of people.
I will say that me and digital clutter, we are do not exist. Like
How
I
many
am such a
screenshots?
what?
How many screenshots?
Not a lot. Because I'm like, oh, that's a good point. Screenshots, yes. I
Do you
clear out
pay
my
for extra storage?
oh, I have tons of storage.
You might have some digital clutter.
Yes, ma'am. I will clear up my Dropbox. Okay, Joy?
Just because it's organized doesn't mean it's not
She's making
Clutter.
me feel seen. You are making me feel seen. Okay. 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 Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's a yes. I will forgive you.
Okay. So make space in your nine. When
Okay.
you hit your one, you'll be able to start filling in, right? Really get clear in your
Yeah.
manifestations. What do
Okay.
you want? Get clear. And then your 11-2 month, which will be July, that's that's one where there can be a little romance if you're interested. It's going to deal with your relationships, all of your relationships, whether it's with people you work with,
Yeah.
romantic, with your son, with your parent, like your mother, father,
Yeah.
whoever, all relationships under two energy.
Okay.
The other thing it will teach you is about patience
Mm,
and about asking for help and accepting it from others.
I'm feeling seen. I just want everyone to just I mean, every single thing that she is saying is spot on. Like everyone needs to book a reading with her right now or get her book or whatever else to get in contact with her because I'm about ready to throw this laptop out the window.
You're the sweetest.
I'm, I'm like, I'm just like, wow, I'm being, oh, I feel uncomfortable. I'm burning up.
That was my first reading. I was a little like, who is this witch? Like, what is happening?
Well, I mean, it's fascinating because I mean, to be transparent, I've looked up my numerology and I've like, okay, that makes sense. And but the way that you're dialing it down is so intuitive. And I feel exposed.
I always say, you cannot hide if I have your numbers. I will see your soul.
You're like, I shouldn't have given you my numbers. I'm just kidding. I appreciate you just telling me all of that. Honestly, like I am so grateful. You have no idea. I am so grateful. I love this. Yes, I can't speak. So let me ask you this. If anyone is interested in learning more about you, where is the best place for them to go to?
My website is joyofnumerology.com. And like I said, there's a formulas page there. People can do their own. My book is available on Amazon and
Yeah.
any other retailers. And yeah, and then I'm on Instagram at Joy of Numerology, Facebook.
Yes.
Everything is under Joy of Numerology.
I love that. So for our final question, what
Yeah,
do you see as the future of numerology and the spiritual community, and how do you hope to contribute to its growth and understanding?
that is a fabulous question. So there is no reason why numerology cannot be as accessible or popular as astrology. What
Yes.
scares me right now is the watering down that's happening on TikTok and
Mhm.
other social media
Mhm.
outlets. So there is so much misinformation out there. And I am passionate about sort of saving that sacred science of numerology. And so I'm in my 1 year now. I am making moves to start writing my second book where I'll go a little bit deeper because the first one is a true beginner's guide, but it will get you started, it will give you the information, but I really feel like this is a tool. I cannot imagine going through life blind without this now.
I want to add another thing into it. And I will say that astrology, I don't, I like astrology, but I don't necessarily identify with a lot that it says. Like I'm a Leo and I don't resonate so much with Leo. Like it's interesting and everything that you're saying in numerology, like I would say if you really want to get a comprehensive reading about you as a soul, a career, your contracts, everything, like book Joy for a reading and get her
Hmm,
book.
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to the Spiritual Spotlight series. I'm going to have you on again when your next book gets released.
Okay.
Thank you.